Welcome back to TYT Sports. A lot of interesting topics to discuss today, as you can see from our perfectly orchestrated rundown by yours truly, Jason Rubin. We have CM Punk, we have the Los Angeles Clippers to discuss. But first of all, we have this little game this weekend. It's called the Manchester Derby. It's not as big as the Old Firm, but don't worry, we will have a clip coming your way on that. Celtic versus Rangers is back, Jason, and I am excited. 4 a.m.
You literally have not stopped talking about it.
4 a.m. is what time I'm waking up on Saturday morning to watch both. I'll have my laptop streaming, probably, the Celtic versus Rangers games. It's not on TV over here. And then I'll be watching on NBC Sports the Manchester Derby.
Here's what I do. I turn off notifications. I DVR both matches. I wake up at a relatively normal hour. And I watch it without going online. And then I go on and I live tweet it.
Hey, Jason, this happened 2 hours ago.
It just happened. It's like my favorite thing. I've always wanted to live tweet like an old Champions League game that they're playing like a rerun of, like the 2002 Champions League final. Just start tweeting it out. Wow, what a beautiful goal there. Can't believe there's game. Why is this game on at 8 a.m.
People would be rattled. People would not have a clue what you're talking about. But anyway, there's a reason why I wanted to do this clip on the Manchester Derby. It is back, but I wanted to discuss, first of all, 5 reasons why this Manchester Derby will be a good derby after what has happened before.
Disappointing to go with the more BuzzFeed style.
What is it?
6 reasons, 3 different varieties, 8 ways to watch. Like what?
8 ways you can watch the Manchester Derby.
3,
Sitting
5,
down,
10.
standing up.
It's very similar to Mean Girls. I know we have a little bit of digression already in this clip, but very similar to Mean Girls. 1, 3, 5. That's their only dress sizes that they have. 3, 5, 10. Only way you're allowed to make lists.
3, 5. I agree with that. I don't know why it's like the hipster way of making lists. 13 reasons, 7 reasons.
Like you're copping out. Either cut down to 5 or find 3 other ones to make it 10. But when you say 7 ways to watch the Derby, here's 1 on TV.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone
2
likes
at the bar.
At the game, most importantly. If you can't go to the game, go to the bar. If you can't go to the bar, go home. That's it.
All right, so Francis, could you rail off our reasons?
Yeah, I'm going to rail them off. But first of all, before I get into that, this is aside from the point. It will be, with the predicted lineups matching up, as many people have expected, the most expensive Manchester derby in history. We're probably one of the most expensive derbies in history. The predicted lineups, Jason, would total £672.4 million in transfer fees.
642 million.
672.4.
Dr. Evil was drooling in his lair somewhere.
And he wouldn't get laughed at. He wouldn't get laughed at if he asked for that. Not at the time he went, 1 million. Everyone's, Dr. Evil?
Dr. Evil.
It's not a lot of money.
Not a lot of money anymore. The
Right.
president's like laughing at him.
As we turn it over, Jason, we have the 5 reasons. And I'm going to run them through and then we'll come back to them. So first of all, there will be more goals. Expect more goals in this game. That's why it'll be more exciting.
Hefty promise.
Yeah, I'm banking on it. You can put your money on it. Number 2, all eyes on Zlatan. We'll get to that, reasons why. Number 3, midfield battle. Expect a grueling midfield battle. Both teams play 3 in the middle. It's going to be colliding battle in there. Number 4, it's going to shape the Premier League season. I'll provide more context on that. And number 5, finally, we will have an atmosphere. We will have an atmosphere worthy of a derby, not like last season. So to go back to it, it's all going to be relating to the past 2 or 3 games that we've seen these clubs face off against each other, Jason. 1 measly goal was scored last year. It was a Marcus Rashford beautiful goal as he embarrassed Di Michelis, left him on the ground.
If you were awake for it.
Yeah, if you managed to persevere through the really torturous football that was before that. The game at Old Trafford, 0-0, was diabolical. Fans were booing. People were not happy. It's not what you expect with the passion that goes along between a derby. And this is why most people don't actually see this as a derby. They see it more so Manchester United-Liverpool as a stronger derby.
Well, there's a lot more hate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just you're battling in the same city, literally, of Manchester.
Yeah.
Fantastic analysis, Jason. I know, thank you. I'm going to talk to myself. Francis, will you continue?
Well, it's the idea that the noisy neighbours were Manchester City were always deemed as a club that were trying to get out of Manchester United's shadow. And I actually have a bold opinion, maybe not be that bold, is that when the money came into it, it actually took away from the striving of Manchester City trying to kind of push Manchester out and always being the underdog and kind of added to the affair. I remember the days when Paul Dickov was playing for Manchester City, and it was a passion that when they were able to overthrow the Giants and win, it added to the spectacle. But when you add the money and the glory that comes along with it, it necessarily is which team has a bigger transfer budget, which team has the bigger stars, and it doesn't necessarily play into the passion that goes along with it. But I can strongly assume there'll be more goals this season because both teams have strengthened, I think, in the attacking third. Zlatan, of course, from Manchester United, banging in 2 goals already this season, or 3 goals, sorry, should I say. And then you've got Mkhitaryan, who I think is going to get the nod alongside Martial or Rashford, who's just banged in 3 goals for England's under-21. There's going to be goals for Manchester United.
We have tactics going up at some point. Whenever this clip goes up, I'm not sure if tactics is already up or it's coming. It's one of the two. And when I open up in Photoshop, what I use to build elements, and I have like a template saved for just like the monitor wall that we used, right? I have, for some reason, last year's Manchester United Derby lineup. Their starting 11. And just swapping the two out to see the difference in just talent. Pogba, Mkhitaryan, Zlatan, just alone those guys. Just alone. Those guys alone makes for a tantalizing matchup. I have a soft spot for Pogba. I really like Paul Pogba. And all his money. And everything that goes with it. And his different haircuts. He's my new Balotelli.
Oh, I can see that.
But I think he's much better than Balotelli will ever be. But he's my new Ballo. I'm not done with Ballo, because you said you're going to mention him at some point.
He will come up in the 5th point, I believe, or the 4th point.
But I was just going to say that when you mentioned the midfield battle, I'm watching 2 players. I'm watching what De Bruyne can do to create wizardry in the midfield, and I'm going to watch what Pogba does. Is he going to play up the park in an attacking method? Is he going to play back and try to be more of a defensive holding midfielder? What will happen?
That is interesting.
Well, you have to watch tactics.
It's a tactics, by the way, because that's not necessarily in amongst the 5 reasons, although the midfield battle will be something to discuss. But more goals I can bank on it. Manchester City, of course, have to bring in someone to replace Aguero. Inacio, I imagine, will get the nod to come in alongside Raheem Sterling on the right and Nolito. You could play Nolito up top on his own.
I thought put Sterling and Nolito up top. 4-4-2.
It's a lot of pace, no height.
Play more, but a lot of pace, no height. That's what Aguero is.
But Aguero knows how to use his head. He's a rare specimen that he's small, but he's also able to get in there.